Brenda Alvarez.
I'm Farheen Ghani,
Sergio Pope.
and we'll be presenting to you ocean contamination.
For how long do you think children can live without food? For how long do you think human beings can live without water? Those are the two main questions that we have to go ahead and consider when we cover the topic of today, which is ocean contamination or ocean pollution. With ocean pollution is defined as the external factors that we put into an ecosystem affecting that ecosystem, in this case the ocean. Ocean contamination is probably the most important, the major and deeper problem that is increasing day to day in the 21st century, which all humanity is participating on this problem either actively or passively. What I'm going to cover today in order to go ahead and create an awareness, an alert to the audience into the world is three elements that contribute to the ocean contamination, which is the contamination from the mining industry, the contamination from the oil spills, and the contamination from the humanity's garbage. The contamination from mining is basically the mining industry. They need to go ahead and wash out the minerals in order to go ahead to send them to processing. In that process, it will go ahead and end up in a final product that is going to go ahead and guarantee our daily style of life. But what happens with that water when they wash out those minerals? Those minerals basically are coming out clean, and that water is going to the rivers. Not always in a planned way. Those rivers have as a final destination the ocean, which ends up killing millions of aquatic life. Now, this type of contamination is probably the most dangerous ones because we cannot see it, we cannot pick it up, we cannot smell it, but yes, we can drink it. So basically, anybody who is living on the sides of the rivers while this contaminated water from the mining industry is going towards the ocean will go ahead and get infected or will go ahead and get killed by poisoning of these chemicals. The second topic that I'm covering is the oil spills. I'm pretty sure that nobody planned to have an accident, but when it happens, trillions of gallons of oil spill goes into the ocean, and it takes weeks or months to go ahead and pick them up. Now, according to us, we go ahead and picked up all the 100% of those trillions of gallons of oil spill, but in reality, it's going deep into the ocean, and we don't have a way to go ahead and measure in numbers or in quantity how many aquatic lives we're killing just by that oil spill. And the third one, and the saddest ones, is that we generate billions of tons of trash on a yearly basis, and either developed countries or undeveloped countries are participating on that. Now, developed countries, they do have a system to go ahead and pick up their trash on a weekly basis and put it in a center place so they can go ahead and have their cities clean. But what happens without garbage? Is everything being buried, or is being sent out to rivers as well as a final destination, the ocean? What happens with the undeveloped countries that they don't have a system to pick up their garbage, and basically individually or as cities are throwing away all those garbage to the rivers as well, which the rivers have a final destination as the ocean as well. So basically, we have to understand the measure and the size of this problem because it's increasing. 21st century will have the worst contamination, ocean contamination, as the biggest problem. So I ask again, for how long do you think children can live without food? Or how long do you think that human beings could live without water? Because if we don't stop and reverse this problem, we won't have food, aquatic life, and we won't have healthy rivers to drink.
Hi, my name's Brenda Alvarez, and kind of continue what Sergio was talking about, ocean contamination. I'm going to talk about what the effects of ocean contamination are on our ecosystem, animals, aquatic life, and human life. Sewage in our ocean causes oxygen levels to go down, which then causes plant life to die and then affects ocean life. Plastic kills fish, birds, marine mammals, sea turtles, destroys habitats, and even affects animals' mating rituals, which can have a devastating consequences and can wipe an entire species. Toxic chemicals from industries, land runoffs, large scales of spills, and ocean mining are among the biggest contributors. According to the United States, at least 800 species worldwide are affected by marine debris, and as much as 80% of litter is plastic. Scientists have learned that corals that meet plastics have a higher chance of contamination and getting a disease and then contaminating the water. If we are exposed to contaminated water, it can cause health issues. This may include, but not limited to, damage to our kidneys, reproductive system, and it may also cause hormonal problems. When metals like mercury come in contact with bacteria, it can become methyl mercury, which is very toxic. Plankton absorbed the toxin, which then goes into sea life and then into our bodies as food. This could cause heart disease, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. The greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone else will save it.
Hi, I'm Faringhani, and I'll be talking to you about how we can save our oceans. While ocean pollution is harmful to marine life, it has a great impact on terrestrial life. There are many steps we can take to limit or even reverse this impact. My outline will be what steps are necessary to stop and reverse ocean contamination, what is the impact of this solution, and I'll be closing this speech. How do we stop ocean contamination? In order to protect our ocean from pollution, our first step is to recycle, volunteer, and support legislative changes on plastic usage. Since one of the reasons plastic pollution is such a big problem is that it does not go away. Plastic is forever, according to the editorial board of New York Times. Therefore, the best way to counter is to recycle it. Each one of us can help reduce ocean population by decreasing our consumption of single-usage plastic. We can refuse to participate in the cycle of consumption where plastic items such as grocery bag, plastic bags, straws are used once and then discarded. On the other hand, while many of us do attempt to recycle, only 90% of the plastic worldwide is recycled properly. The vast majority, 79%, is accumulating in landfills or sloshing off in the natural environment as litter, meaning at some point, much of it will end up in the ocean, the final sink. So when recycling, to make sure to separate and discard the items properly. By supporting grassroots legislative movement in your local area, we can make a drastic change in limiting the waste that ends up in the ocean. Many municipalities around the world have enacted bans on single plastic usage. Take out containers. You can support adoptions of such policies in your community. By supporting movements such as phase out of lightweight plastic bag, we can considerably decrease the amount of plastic in our ocean since 80% of the plastic waste comes from land. As of 2019, these type of bans have been initiated in 63 countries with different levels of enforcement. While the US does not have a national policy in limiting the use of plastic bags, 2 states, New York and Hawaii, have already begun this process along with countless other legislative bodies. We can also volunteer to clean our local water bodies and stem the flow of pollution in our ocean. By volunteering to clean up, it's one of the most direct and rewarding ways to fight ocean pollution. By simply going to your local beach and waterway and cleaning up waste with family and friends, you can make a huge difference. By properly recycling and supporting our local grassroots movement, we can hope to make a real impact in limiting ocean pollution. Recycling helps keep the plastic out of the ocean and reduces the amount of new plastic in circulation. There's an economic benefit to the solution. Cleaning up beaches can support local economies along with preserving natural treasures and animal habitats. According to a study by Ohio State University, in Southern California's Orange County alone, the economic benefit of beach cleanup could range from $13 per resident in a 3-month period if the debris was reduced by 25%. However, if the debris was reduced by 75%, the economic benefit to each resident was $42. But it's not just about the money. Imagine going to a beach and not seeing it littered with trash. Just clean, sparkling water, and beautiful sand, no more of the bad smells from human and animal waste. Removing litter that we find on the beach allows us to protect marine wildlife and ensure that it won't be imperiled in some way by ocean pollution. In conclusion, ocean contamination is a worldwide problem and will take effort from individuals and society worldwide to resolve it. In conclusion, ocean contamination is a worldwide problem and will take effort from individuals and societies worldwide to resolve it. Ocean contamination, primarily created by man-made pollutants, has an impact across different ecosystems. Ocean contamination is a 21st century problem, and humanity is either an active or a passive participant. By consuming less plastic, recycling, volunteering to clean, and lobbying to change laws, we can hope to avert this catastrophe. So let's make an effort to clean up our oceans and waterways today.